Today on 7th Circle Gaming, we're analyzing the game Persona 3 Reload. We'll start the video proper in just a minute after a bit of full disclosure. Everyone who's interested in reading through all of these can pause the video and read at their leisure. For everyone else, just let the video run. Before we move on to the gameplay footage, we're going to start off by looking at the overworld map, or at least a portion of it. From what we can see here, there are 3 destinations that players can explore. We also note that this is an evening time map of the overworld, leaving open the possibility that during the day or early morning, different locations will open up for players to explore. We also note that at the very bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the game has provided some helpful tooltips for players who might have forgotten what the key commands are. In this first of 2 gameplay clips that we're going to share with you today, we want to draw your attention first of all to the gameplay world, or at least one portion of it, and the social link system. This is going to seem very complicated, just being thrown into it like this, but the game does seem to do a reasonable job of doling out this information slowly so that players don't experience any sort of sensation of being overwhelmed. From what we can see in this gameplay footage, there is nothing in the world that should not be relatable to players of Persona 3 Reload. Everything looks exactly as we would expect to see it in the real world. There are no fantastical elements just yet. However, there will be some slightly fantastical elements later in our second bit of gameplay footage. One last thing to note on this piece of gameplay footage before we move on to the next is that once again we do have some tooltips at the lower right hand corner of the screen. In this gameplay clip, we're going to look at combat within Persona 3 Reload. All combat takes place within what we're going to call the dark world of the game. Combat is turn-based and is very much centered around managing the party statistics in an attempt to win the combat encounter. That's all the gameplay clips we have to share with you today, so let's move on to our first proper chapter, which is, as it always is, Immersion. Here, Persona 3 Reload has earned a score of 9 out of 15. As nearly as we can determine from all of our evaluation sessions, the game is really relying on player agency, statistics, and the story to get players immersed into the game's world. While we do admit that challenge and the presentation do play some role, as does audio, it's really going to be the statistics management and the player agency that gets players immersed into the game. Moving on now to difficulty, where the game has earned a very nearly average score of 6 out of 15. While the game doesn't do anything poorly as far as difficulty is concerned, it also doesn't provide players with the customization options that would allow them to tailor the game experience to their preferences at any one particular moment, and it could be more clear about how various difficulty levels are going to impact gameplay. And now moving on to Lasting Appeal, where the game has earned a score of 7 out of 15. We've indicated here that there is no mod support available, but that's not entirely accurate. There is no native mod support for the game. However, there are third-party websites which do have mods available for download, but they may require creating additional user accounts, editing in-game files, or opening up the player's computer to potential viruses or other malware. Overall, Persona 3 Reload has earned a score of 7.3 out of 15, as close to average as it can be without actually getting a 7.5 out of 15. And now please get out your handfuls of salt because we're about to get highly subjective. In short, can we recommend Persona 3 Reload to someone who is not already a fan of the series? No. The manufacturer's suggested retail price is a bit too high to recommend it for someone who's not. On the other hand, if players are able to get the game at a significant discount, it could be a good way of experimenting with the Persona series. Otherwise, it's a far more reasonable suggestion to purchase Persona 5, as it does seem to be that that's the direction the series will be going in the future. And that's all for today from 7th Circle Gaming. You're welcome to agree or disagree about anything that we've said in the comments section below. You're also welcome to request games for analysis down there, if you're so interested. Either way, until the next video, goodbye.